Alright, getting started on another project again today. We're going to be building a tripod seat. And what I wanted out of this seat was a lightweight, durable seat that will also come apart and reassemble as a pole. The use of this pole will be to get discs out of trees, out of water, anything like that. For this project, I'm going to be using 1/2 inch PVC. Not a real big guy, so I figure 1/2 inch PVC will be heavy duty enough to hold my weight pretty easily, and it will also be a little bit lighter weight than 3/4 inch. On top of that, I wasn't able to find all of the right fittings that I needed for 3/4 inch PVC, so 1/2 inch it is. In addition to that, we'll be using two 1/2 inch female couplings, two 1/2 inch male couplings, two threaded plugs, and one 1/2 inch pipe cap. For the leg assembly, when it's in a chair, we'll be using 1/4 inch by 2 inch steel ring in order to attach the seat, which I'll be making out of this no longer useful bag, as it's got a hole in it. Seems to be pretty heavy duty. It'll hold my weight, super lightweight, and it's made out of plastic, so it's not going to get wet or stay wet if it does. So that's what I'll be using. Should be able to hold my weight pretty well. In order to hold that to the legs, we're going to be using screw-in snaps. Haven't used these yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just like buttons, except for one end we'll be able to screw in. And because we're going to be screwing it in, I've got a scrap piece of wood. From there I'll be able to screw in the bottom half of these snaps to the wood, clip the other end onto this fabric, and snap the chair on and off so that I can disassemble it to hold the wood in, put it in there pretty tight, but also got some Gorilla Glue in case we need it. Tape measure to measure out the length of the legs. Some of them are going to be a little different sizes because one of them will have the plug and the male fitting, or the cap and the male fitting rather, the plug, female and male on one, and the other will just have the female fitting and the plug. And in order to attach those to the PVC, we'll be using some PVC cement. I think that's all I'm going to need, other than, you know, the basic hand tools, a saw to cut the PVC, a hammer to help put this in, just some basic stuff. But other than that, that should be all that we'll need for this project. I'm going to do some measurements and see what lengths we're going to need for the PVC, and come back to you while we're cutting those. Alright, so I'm back. I've done the math, measured and cut 3 different lengths of PVC. Labeled them all for what piece they're going to be. And so what I did here was actually measure the length of the entire piece of each one of these. I used them as basically 3 separate pieces, because when it's on the chair, these two are going to be permanently attached until it needs to be assembled as a pole. So I would measure the entire length of the male, and then I subtracted from that the depth at which the PVC is going to sit in there. And that gave me the additional length that I would get from each of these pieces. I decided I would cut my poles, or get the whole length of them all together, at 24 inches. It's a little bit longer than most of the tripod stools you see out there, which range from 18 to 21 inches roughly. but I need mine to be able to extend a little bit longer to get things out of trees and be able to reach a little bit farther out. You know, it's got a second purpose other than just being a stool, so it's not all about being as small and compact as possible. Although it should stay pretty small and be a reasonable size to carry. If not, I can cut it down later. So then what I figured out after I knew the additional length that each of these would add, the top was going to have a female and a plug and nothing else. So there was going to be an additional 1.5 inches. So top length altogether with the plug and the female adapter totals out at 24 inches, which is what I was looking for. The middle was going to have a female adapter and a plug, and then on the other end it's going to have a male adapter. That way you're able to unscrew the plug from the bottom of this, screw in the male adapter, and that will be part of the pole assembly. And so with the addition of those 3 pieces, the middle was going to have 2 1/8 inch added onto it. So I subtracted that from 24 inches and found out how long I would need to cut the middle piece. And the top, or the bottom piece as well, is going to have 2 pieces. It's going to have a male adapter, and then on the other end it's just going to have the PVC cap. And so I had to cut that at 22 5/8 inch. And I'll list all of these in the video for you guys to see. So I did all those measurements, cut all the pieces, and labeled each of the pieces so as to not be a fool and know where each of them went and not attach the wrong pieces. After measuring and cutting your PVC, we're going to clean up the ends of the PVC a little bit, clean out the wells of the PVC adapters, and attach them with a little bit of rubber cement. Not rubber cement, rather PVC cement. I want to cover the pieces pretty well, get them in there a nice amount, but not enough that it's pooling, and you definitely don't want to get any on the threads. Stuff pretty much melts the PVC. So get a nice amount in there, put them together quickly, give it a little turn. You can see right there on the ends, it's definitely melting the PVC. You can see the color coming out of it. I like to first get down inside and clean out, make sure I'm not getting anything on the threads, because it's definitely getting in there. And then cleaning up this outside piece a little bit. Just give it a good once over. Make sure you hold it together long enough to let it set. Seconds should do the trick, and it is going to take a couple of hours to set completely, but for now it's good enough to work with. It'll definitely hold itself together. During the segment, make absolutely sure that you are putting on the right pieces. I took the plug out of the female adapter already so that I could get inside and make sure that there was no PVC cement moving around in there. Do the same thing for this other one. This is the middle length. So it's going to have a female on one end and a male on the other. On the other end of the middle adapter, we're going to the middle PVC pole. We're going to attach the male adapter. make sure to give it a little twist once the PVC cement is in there, just to make sure it's spread around nice and evenly and covering all of the inside of this on both pieces. It'll ensure you get a better connection and these don't fall apart or start spinning in the future. I also like to make sure that they are pushed all the way in as much as possible so it gets connection on the bottom as well. And for the bottom piece, we're going to be attaching a male adapter and a cap. Once you get this cement on there, you don't want to leave it sitting around for too long. It is melting your PVC and not to anything until the pieces are together. So you want to make sure to get it on there pretty quick, get it on there snug, and give it a good twist to hold it together well. Not too worried about the inside of these pieces as the threads are on the outside. So I'm not melting anything that's going to be of real importance in there. It's just melting it all together. Alright, once more, rub off the brush a little bit so that we're not getting too much in there, that it's spreading all around and getting onto other parts of the PVC that we don't want. But get a nice even layer on both the inside and the outside. Spread it around. Put your cap on there. Give it a nice little twist. Clean up the excess. Just hold it snug for a few seconds so that it can get a nice good bond in there. Make sure it's holding together well. Alright. After a few minutes, these will be tough enough to work with. And then we'll start cutting wood and putting scraps into the proper pieces to attach the fasteners to.